let's take a look at alternatives. A good workaround, if possible, is to use other words that can replace nicht. That makes it very easy. Although, admittedly, nicht and these words that you see here are, of course, different. Yeah, if you say I go to the cinema often or seldomly, that's of course not the same as saying I never go or I don't go to the cinema. But it might be a good workaround, especially in exams where you don't really have to be that precise all the time, at least not in the B1 levels or anything below B1. Just to show you a little thing to play with. Now let's practice this. I give you some, well, unfortunately, the presentation doesn't allow me to highlight things or to make them appear. But maybe you get the idea why you put it there. Maybe in A, why would you put the nicht at the end? You can type it in the chat. What's the reason for it? What are you negating in A? And if you're fast, you can also say B. So write it like this. A negates, yeah, for example, A I give away. You put the nicht at the end because you want to negate the understanding. It's not important that you don't understand that person. It's important that you do not understand. So how would you do it with B? What's the reason why you put the nicht where it is? If you don't type, at least think, yeah, for yourself. You will get plenty of opportunities to practice this in your German learning. So whenever you see a nicht, ask yourself, what is it negating? Is it in front of something? Then why is it in front of something? Anyone has an idea why the nicht is where it is in B? Or maybe the chat is broken, who knows? Yeah. It negates the place. Yeah, that's a very logical answer. Thank you for that. It is actually because there is a preposition. An im. The im plus dem always contracts to im. So im Garten. So the unit of information im Garten is negated. And whenever you see a preposition, you just put it in front of it. So you don't even have to think, oh, is it a location or is it anything? I just see the in and that's it. Very simple. Again, these are rules of thumb. You might find exceptions of this, but as it is with rules of thumb, they are at least 80% true, and that speeds up your learning. Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. So, another one. So why would you negate, or what are we negating in C? Yeah, could you put it at the end in C? Would that make sense? Das ist meine Jacke nicht. Yeah, while theoretically, yeah, in English you would also say, this is not my jacket. Here, English and German are pretty much aligned. While theoretically, I think it's possible, I would actually have difficulties thinking of a situation where I would do that, maybe in the theater for dramatic expression. So it's very obvious in that case, it can only be there. I wouldn't put it anywhere else. In D, we talked about the verbs that are pushed to the end. So nicht is actually at what position here in D? Yeah, we have two verbs here, müssen and aufstehen, and I brushed over this a bit quickly, but whenever there's two verbs, the second verb is being pushed to the end, and it overtakes the nicht. So theoretically, the nicht before the pushing was at the very end, and it still kind of is at the very end from its function. So it is negating the aufstehen, it's negating the verb. Yeah, they're all correct like this. you only see correct answers here. It's not a wrong answer. It's a very simple test. Yeah, I didn't want to make it too difficult, and also this presentation needs an improvement. Another 2 and then maybe 2 more. In E, you can quickly say, why is the Nicht where it is? We've done this before. Very simple, no thinking required. Here it's actually interesting because we still have the weg at the end, which is part of wegfahren. But another rule, the trick, overrules this. Yeah, we have the preposition here, im, so no brainer, just put the Nicht in front of it. That's in most of the cases the best way to do so. And in F, you already see this. Sie interessieren sich nicht für Filme. You have a preposition called für, and you simply blindly can put the Nicht in front of it. Very simple. It gets interesting for you, 2 more. It gets interesting for you once you start reading your next lesson or your next text. Then you actually might come across a couple of things that are not clear. Feel free to share these with me. If you work with my course, you can leave a comment in the community if you are a customer. And also feel free to share via email. I'm always happy to look for examples and see how I can make it simpler. Yeah, please understand if I get too many emails, I cannot just respond to everyone, then I have to find another way to make this clearer, maybe in a repetition of this topic. So in G, you have to put the Nicht in front of alt because you're negating an adjective. Yeah, usually when there is adjectives, you negate them. Yeah, ich bin nicht alt, ich bin nicht groß. Especially when you use ist to be as a verb, that's a common occurrence that shouldn't cause too much trouble. It's the same in English. I'm not old, I'm not big, I'm not stupid. And in H, I gave you a little alternative. So, ihr tanzt gern, ihr tanzt ungern. How could you express that with nicht? Where would you put it? Can you type the sentence? And then we're done with the exercise. Yeah, there's a little delay maybe in the messages. So if you want to do this, yes, very nice. Ihr tanzt nicht gern. So the un actually already is a placeholder for the nicht. Yeah, ihr tanzt gern nicht. Gern is, let's call it an adjective, even though it doesn't behave like one, it possibly has a different title, adverb, and those are also negated like adjectives. Yeah. Okay, it was a little difficult one. Here we go, a little review. So in general, it's in front of what it negates. Yeah, with a groß and klein, that actually makes a lot of sense. It's also not too far away from any other languages. The trick is if there's a preposition, just put it blindly in front of it, you're mostly right. And if it's at the end or if there's no other logical place, it is usually getting the activity, and it's not so important that there's a specific person involved or a specific object. That's all. That covers at least 80% of your needs. Give this a shot. Try this and maybe take notes of any exception you can find. It would be interesting to see. But for B1, this is more than enough. You shouldn't have to worry about anything. So I explain this in a bit more detail and take more time to practice this in my online course. Not in the first lesson. It's even though in the first lesson you already get in touch with negation, as far as I remember, but that's kein. Kein is very simple. It's, as I said, if you know ein, then you just put a K in front of it. You can try the first lesson for free. Just go to smartergerman.com, all courses, and then the level you want to practice. The first lesson is always free. This topic is a very beginner's topic, so it's the A1 to B1 course. And you can just work through this. The first lesson will teach you in a couple of weeks, and because it will also teach you how to learn independently and it will open your eyes about how to learn more efficiently. So you can take this as my gift to you. Thank you, Ahmed. You can work through the first lesson, and you have stuff, materials, and techniques, and a strategy already that you can apply to any material out there. It's a lot more work. That's why I sell my course, of course. Yeah. And this, but it's a gift. Make use of it. It's absolutely worth every second you invest in this. Yeah. You see in the chat up there, there's a link to the free lesson. Just go there and enjoy. If you have any questions in that free lesson, feel free to leave a comment. I see all the comments. It takes me a day, sometimes or two, but I get back to you. So don't fight for yourself. You always have someone to help you. And yeah, the biggest mistake people make working with any online course or material is they don't ask for help when they need it. There is people who ask too often for help, but that's easy to solve. I just say, hey, trust yourself, give it a shot. You don't have to know everything right away. But in general, people rather don't ask, and that's a pity.